everyone. No, they're not here. We have to let everyone in.
Yep. I can go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know how many other people are here. I think it's just the one person. Yeah?
Yeah, I can only see one. Able.
Okay, so who can the person? Oh, here's other people. Okay, let me just give it 2 seconds and then we're going to start. There we go. Okay, so we
Okay,
are
they're
good.
joining.
Okay.
Yeah, let me
Morning. The two of you that are online, I can't see first names. I can only see name and surname. So if you can just unmute this quickly and just make sure that you are here and you can hear me, please, if you don't mind.
Yes, I'm here and I can hear you.
Fabulous. And what is your first name?
It's Innate. INNATE.
Innate. Okay, cool. Okay.
Morning, everyone. Can I just do a small intro so they can know who they're talking to today? Well, morning, everyone. As you know me, I'm Sakile Sitole, your admin at DUT Rise. Unfortunately, Miss Lyson won't be joining us. She's only here to listen, but she won't say anything to you guys as she's in another workshop. Well, we have Mrs. Geeta Winter here today with us. She's doing this is day 2 of our webinar for CV writing and LinkedIn. So she'll be taking us through our CV writing as well as LinkedIn, as I said. She's from Performability Recruitment. As you can see on her background, there's a logo there, a nice one. So she'll be taking us through. She's one of our partners at DUT Advancement and Alumni Relations Unit in our office, actually. We've been working with her hand in hand. Some of you guys do know her if you were there at the launch of the DUT Rise. She was also there to share her story. So guys, you can just have this. This is just an interaction session. So guys, you can ask any question with regards to what we're talking about here today. And also you can just give Ms. Geeta some space when she's talking. And then afterwards, after she's done, you can ask questions, but she'll give you the lead on how to engage with the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Skile. Appreciate it. Alrighty, so intros are done. There's not a lot of us online, which is actually great because then you get some real one-on-one help, which is awesome. So I just want to give you an idea of how today is going to work. So today is it's not a lecture style session because you're at the sticky end of your year and you really, for most of you, should be in the job market at the moment actively. We're going to try and make this a practical session where the outcome would be a CV that's heading towards market ready so that you've got a couple of tweaks on it to go, and then your CV should be able to be loaded wherever we're going to be loading your CV. Once we've done the CV, we're also going to use the same data to optimize your LinkedIn for the kinds of jobs that you want. So the first part seems really admin intensive, and I suppose it is, but it really helps you to have both a CV and a good LinkedIn presence. And then we're going to create a little bit of content and some stuff that will help you to brand yourself better on LinkedIn. So totally a practical session. We're not going to lecture. So lots of questions. Please share with me. Show me the output from the AI we do. Because the more we do that, the more you learn. So please don't stick your hand up. You're welcome to ask a question. Just unmute and shout out. When there's a presentation mode, it's really difficult for me to manage the chat at the same time. So I'm going to try and split the screen so that I can manage the chat at the same time. But please feel free. I don't mind you stopping me at any time. And especially where there's important things, I'm going to say to you, this bit's really important, so let's get it right together. No such thing, stupid questions. No such thing as a judgment. My only objective today is to try and help, to try and get you to stand out in the market as far as humanly possible. So please use me, because that's what the intention was. And I'd like to say thanks to DUT for giving all of you this opportunity to get yourselves ahead of any other students that are potentially in the market at the moment. What I do want to say is that as a recruiter, when I advertise graduate positions, I can get 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 applications per one position. So given that as a stat, it is absolutely critical that you take every opportunity that you possibly can to stand out in the market. And this is one of the ways that we do it. Any questions, any concerns, anybody want to say anything now that I need to have on my radar to help you at all? No. Okay, cool. I'm going to ask a question, and I require everybody's input for this, right? So if I would like you to all unmute so that we can have a small discussion, because the concept is important, right? Who here has ever searched for something to buy online? So you've used Google to search for places where an item could be sold. You can use a thumbs up, or you can say out loud yes or no.
I have.
Oh, thank you, Annette.
Yes, I
Appreciate
have.
it. Awesome. Thank you. And let me ask you this. So when you've gone on to Google to search for something, let's say you're looking for a TV. Do you put in TV and hit enter? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
You only put
No.
TV.
No.
Okay. Do you do more than just put TV?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, you
What would
end
you
up coming
say?
back with slippers.
You're going to come back with slippers, TV slippers. Yes, exactly. Okay, so Toli, sorry, what is your first name?
Kwanele.
Panele.
Yes.
Panele, what do you put if you're looking for a TV? What words do you put into Google?
Maybe I specify the type of TV. Sorry, my background noise. I specify the type of TV that I want. Maybe if it's smart TV, I do say smart TV. And then maybe the brand, possibly, so that the result that come out will be specific to what I want.
100% correct. Now, if you take what you've just said and apply it to a recruiter or a talent acquisition manager at a company, when we go to search for you, we don't put hardworking team player diploma, because we will get everything under the sun. Just like if you put TV, you could get TV slippers, right? We also use very specific keywords. So we might say supply chain, Durban, stock, inventory, whatever the words are, logistics. We'll put specific words in to get you. So if you were looking for a smart TV and the game did not have smart TVs, it wouldn't have come up in a search. Except that game are very clever, and they put other search engine words to direct you to other TVs that they've got. So sometimes it is that smart. But if, let's say, they didn't have a Samsung smart TV, it would not have come up in your search for you to go and have a look at it. And the very same is true of your CV and your LinkedIn portfolio, your profiles. If you don't have enough keywords that are relative to your industry that recruiters typically use, we cannot find you. If we cannot find you, we can't engage with you. And if we don't engage with you, you ain't getting an interview and you're probably not getting a job. So when I say to you that this stuff is really critical, I genuinely mean it is so important for you to get this right for your own visibility and for your own ability to be seen and considered as a candidate in the market. Okay. So keep that principle in mind. Am I being specific enough, or am I putting in something so generic that I'm going to get 1 million returns and I'm not going to look at them? Because that's what we're talking about. Okay. So in preparation for this, you all should have had your CV in some ATS-friendly templates, either the one that I sent when you got your invite or a similar one. It didn't have to be that one specifically. Do we all have that ready and handy? Okay, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to skip some of these slides that you might see because the point is to do it practically. So I'm not necessarily going to go all through this. Okay, everybody can see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Thank you, Cornelia. And if you have a look at this, here's another engagement opportunity. Here's the brief. You and I are in the car together. I go racing up to the front of Pick n Pay. I give you 20 Rand and I say, go into the store and buy me the best bottle of shampoo. You get to the front of the store and this is what you see. Which bottle are you buying me? You have to pick one. You have no choice. You've got to bring me the best bottle of shampoo. Which one? Innate, which one are you buying me?
I think I'll pick the one that's at the back.
Okay, which one is that? A, F, G, or L?
Should be L.
Cool. L's a good one, right? Is somebody else besides Innate? Somebody who has not yet participated?
Okay, can I participate as well?
Yes, please.
So as a guy, I'll take the one that's right in front of me.
D or J?
Yeah, I'll just take D.
You'll take D. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Here's the truth. I mean, and you can obviously see this, right? Every bottle of shampoo is identical. There is little no difference between them. And again, I'm going to say to you, as a recruiter who has viewed thousands of graduate CVs, when we open them, this is what we see. Copy, repeat. Copy, paste, repeat. And so when you're wanting us to make a choice as to which one of you we should move forward with, you're literally giving us nothing to work with. So when we optimize your CV now, it would be like smacking a Pantene bottle in the middle of these Palmolive ones at the same price. You're probably going to be attracted to the one that's giving you something different. So this is something that you need to really keep in mind. I'm skipping this one. Right. There is a document attached to the chat called CV input data. I'd like you to please open it up because we're going to use this to type into, and we're going to save that document as CV input data because we're inputting that shortly into one of the AI prompts. Does everybody see it in the chat? Can open it? I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. Yes, you can ask your question. I see you've got a hand up. You've got it. Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate the confirmation. Right, if everybody got it open. So the point of this document is really to help you see that despite the fact that you're just a graduate, that you have more in your arsenal than you think you've got. And there is a lot more that you have to demonstrate knowledge, skill, and application than you believe that you do. And this data is important to be able to set you apart, to showcase your ability to perform certain jobs that you apply for. So be as detailed as you can in the short period of time that we've got, but you can always go back and add to this and rerun the exercise after today so that you've got a very good, solid input document. So when you've got it open, I want you to please, in the very first question that you see there, I want you to please answer, why did you study what you did? And this answer is not because your mom made you, because your mom thought you should be a doctor. It's why. So again, sometimes, you know, we take courses because that's the only thing we could get into, and then we landed up changing paths halfway through, or you kind of didn't have a choice, but you learned to love it. So tell me why. Because the why frames your characteristics, your natural strengths and abilities and interests, which could be very, very relevant to a job. Does everybody understand? Anybody want to ask a question about this? We're looking for bullet points, so you can just, because again, like I say, you can always go back and edit it afterwards to get a complete CV. Okay, we've all got we've got something. Okay. The next one is, where did you excel, or which modules did you enjoy the most? We don't have to get a distinction to be good at something. So I want us to take that out of our heads already. If you've got good marks, that is somewhere you excel. So it doesn't have to be a distinction. And you could have gotten a fairly average mark, all things considered, but you thoroughly enjoyed the module. It sparks something in you that you can say, oh, I love this. I'd like to do more of this. Yes. Maneli, welcome to ask a question.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just had a problem with my Wi-Fi. Can I ask where are we reading from?
You've got to take the input data from the data document from the chat.
Yes.
And you should be typing in there. These questions are on that document already populated.
Okay. So I type in the answers.
Yes, please. And then we're going to save it and we're going to use that to upload into an AI prompt in a minute.
Okay.
Everybody else okay? You got the document, you're typing in. So by now we should have known why you studied what you did and where you did well and what you enjoyed. Cornelia, cool?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay. So here are the questions in totality. So you can just complete them as you go. I'm going to explain them as we move so that maybe it will help you think a bit differently. So the next one is thinking about all of your projects and assignments and going back to year one. And sometimes we might have to go back in archives and dig out some information. But for now, let's just use the ones that you remember. So let's give you an example. Let's say you're a process engineer, or you study process engineering, and you did a simulated project in a manufacturing plant where you had to use the lean methodology, come up with a scenario, come up with suggestions, do a report. That project is hugely valuable because it showcases your ability to assess, to analyze, to report, to come up with solutions, to use methodologies. Do you see how that could demonstrate suitability for a role? And we did loads of projects and assignments in the 3 years that you were at varsity, 3 or 4 years, however long you've been there. And then also think about your role in that project. Now, there's not always an assigned leader, but very often there is a leader that kind of coordinates things, that kind of takes control, that makes sure that everything's collated at the end and the submissions are done and checks in on people. If that was your role, you want to note that. But if you worked on, say, a capstone project where you had a big project to do and there were defined roles, one of you was a business analyst, one of you was a project manager, one of you was the developer, you want to note that as you're thinking about your projects. Okay, next one is any part-time work. So that may be, even if it was waitering, retail, anything that you did part-time while you were studying, any VAC work or any volunteering opportunities that you had. Now, volunteering doesn't have to be directly related to your field of study. You could have, as an example, led a youth project at the church, or managed an event at a church or at a local community or anything of the sort, because there is a lot of activities there that are work relatable, transferable skills. So think broadly. Really don't limit yourself. Think about everything that you've ever done in the context of how that could demonstrate a skill set or a knowledge. Okay, is everybody is good to go? Next, if you run a side hustle, so any business or most people don't call it a business, anything that you do as a student that earns you extra money. So that could be selling products, house sitting, pet sitting, providing a service of any sort on campus, in a community. It could be online. It could be generating ad hocly. So maybe like you generate graphic design for some people, you do books on the side, anything that you run a business. Think about what it is you do there and bear it in mind with what it is that you're planning to do. So if somebody wants to give me an example of what faculty they're from and what jobs they're hoping to get, I will help you to structure this quickly with that in mind. So does somebody want to share with me, what are they doing? What are they hoping to do? It's important. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Can you please repeat the question?
So I wanted to know, what are you studying, or what were you studying, and what kind of jobs were you hoping to get, so that I can help you think about this from that perspective.
Okay, so this year I was studying in bachelor's degree in information and communications technology.
Okay.
So I was hoping to get internships. I was hoping to get internships on data analytics.
Okay.
Yes, and software engineering.
Data analytics and software engineering.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. Yes.
And when you say software engineering, we're talking about development, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, what is your first name?
Princess.
Princess. Okay. All right. Princess, have you done any part-time work, VAC work, volunteering?
Yes, I did. I have done some volunteering at Durban University of Technology.
Doing?
I was a DET Living Valley champion.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's a good one. Do you run a side business? Have you done any development work on the side for your friends, family?
No.
Okay. What about your projects? Were any of them to develop websites, to assess code, test code? What projects did you do?
Okay, so we had this project that we were doing last year.
Mm-hmm.
So we were tasked to do a research on a certain topic, and then we had to read articles, previous papers regarding that topic, and then we were supposed to find a gap or identify a gap, and then come up with a solution on how we can improve certain problems that we have identified from what we have read.
Okay.
So yeah, and
All
we
right.
developed a system. So we developed as an irrigation system that was supposed to monitor and detect the soil moisture and also provide real-time data to the farmer. So yeah.
Okay, so you see, do you see how what a perfect project that is, that feeds into data analytics and development?
Yes.
Would you have had that on your CV otherwise?
Yes, I do.
You do? Oh, I'm so happy to hear it, Princess. Good for you. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's a good one. All right. Lovely.
Okay.
Anybody else want to share? I can help you make it relevant to you. Don't be shy. This is your opportunity to get real one-on-one help. Stand out like a boss. Okay. Have any of you worked on committees? So been involved in campus committees or held leadership roles? So you're the head of RES, you're the treasurer on your RES, you chaired a committee, and again, it might also be off campus. You could be you could be head of youth at your church. You could be the event manager. Think about those, because a lot of that also there's also a lot of skills and knowledge that goes into that. You can, if you really want to at this stage, look at high school. So if you were a matric, if you were a prefect or a counselor, or whatever they called it at your school, to do that. But please don't go as far back as primary school. We don't want to know about first team cricket at primary school. It's a bit far along. And likewise, if you've been working in a career for more than 5 years, you probably don't need to include matric any longer. Not matric, the qualification, but leadership roles and the like in matric. So any committees, leadership roles, positions of I don't want to say authority, of influence, let's say that. Think about those. Add those. So example, if you're in the if you're the treasurer of RES, that's a lot of finance skills that you utilized. You would be able to use that if you're applying for a finance job. If you were the head of the student ambassador one, you may have been responsible for executing campaigns, for running open days, for those things are all very applicable to coordination, management, project management, reporting sometimes. So think about that. If you ran a side business, think about the activities that you did in the business. So we're not talking about I sold a product. We're talking about sourcing products, costing products, budgeting, forecasting, business development, logistics, finance. We're talking about what did I do in order for that business to be operational? Because those are the functions that lend themselves to your skills. Okay, everybody is everybody good so far? You've all got a couple of points per question. Doesn't have to be a million, because you can go back later. But does everybody so far give me a thumbs up if you are tracking? You've got a point or two for everything. If you haven't ever run a side business, you don't need to obviously put something, or we've been in a leadership or a committee, but for everything where you can, you've got something. Yeah? Is anybody not? Thank you, Princess.
Just a question, sorry.
Yes.
I see these questions, but with the documents that are sent to the chat, I don't see how are they matching each other. Are we supposed maybe like the first question goes into part A of that document?
Okay, so the input data for CV, the questions are exactly the same. Let me share my screen quick. Let me stop sharing and reshare. If you've taken the input data from for the CV, stop sharing. I just want to reshare. You will see that the document is identical to the questions.
Yeah, okay. Can you please share that in the chat? I don't think it was the same document that I shared.
I opened it from the chat. It's called input data for CV. Do you see it in the chat?
I only see the AI prompts for CV.
It's above that. Did you maybe come in later?
Yeah, I switched devices.
Okay, so maybe you can't see this anymore. I don't have access to share anything. So you might just have to type them and type the heading yourself.
Okay.
Sorry. Is everybody else okay? Okay, we're going to move on now to the last few, because then we need to start moving on. Right, what are you most proud of to date? Now, you're going to hear me talking about context very often throughout today. And something you're proud of adds context. So it frames the story around which you succeeded in something. So as an example, let's say that in your first semester, you failed a subject, and in your second one, you passed it against all odds, like something that was incredibly challenging for you, or there were circumstances around the time that made it a difficult thing. Family members were sick, you relocated, you know what, it could have been financial struggles. It could have been you were sick yourself. All sorts of things contributed to why you're proud of something or why you. So put that and give a little bit of background to it. I passed something that I'd struggled with in the past. And this was at this stage of my life or something. So that because it gives context to your CV, and it's going to become important when we're trying to differentiate you against a lot of people who have much of the same kind of qualification and background or work experience as you do. And then while you're thinking about it, what we're proud of, what we think is an achievement, is not necessarily the same as what your friends and family believe or see of you. So while you're thinking about it, what are your family or friends most proud of? When they go, oh, Princess, I can't believe how well you did or Princess, or Innate, oh, I can't, that is such an achievement, congrats. Or Cornele, oh my goodness, you are such a champ because. What is that thing? Okay, last few. What one word, now it doesn't have to be exactly one word, but we don't want a sentence here. So it could be continuous improvement, continuous learning, but not a long sentence. So what one word or phrase would you use to describe you? Please try stay as far away from the generic copy-paste versions of things people use. So I don't want to see hard worker, team player, good communicator, perfectionist. Really look deeply at what it is that really defines you and describes you. Because very often that one thing is what shapes what you're good at. It's what guides what you do in life. It what directs how you behave and act. So it can be a really powerful way to start incorporating things into your skills, your executive summaries, your propositions and your applications. Juanella, do you want to give me what you think your one word is? There's no right or wrong answer. So
Yeah. I think for me it's organized and enthusiastic.
okay. Organized, that's a good one. And if I were to ask you what about, how do I know you're organized? What would I see as an outsider?
When you tell me something to do, I'd first think for a minute and say, okay, let me just break this down into small little tasks so that it's easier for me to accomplish. So you'd see me just thinking out loud and say, okay, so I need to do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So that's just me. Everything you say, I break it down to small little tasks before I do it.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Good. Anybody else want to share one of what your one word is? For me, it would be curious. And it perfectly fits into my line of work. I am very curious. I want to know everything about everything. I see a hand. You're more than welcome to unmute.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
I would describe myself as an abductive person.
That's a great one. Sorry, what is your first name?
Nokukhanya.
Say it again, sorry.
Nokukhanya.
Kanya.
Yes, Nokukhanya.
And what are you, so what kind of job are you hoping to apply for, Nokokanya?
I'm hoping to apply for HR assistant, HR administrator.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. And how do you think adaptive helps you with that?
Adaptive helps me with when you come into a new environment. Hence, maybe when I get a job and I will be in a new environment, I get to know people individually as a person, and I would like people to know me as an individual, what I like and what I like to do, and just their personality and their character. I like to be adaptive to the space and follow the rules, because I believe every organization has its own rules and way of doing, and I make sure I align myself with those values of the organization or place or anywhere else. Yes.
It's a very good one. And let me give you some other clues. So when you're in interviews and we're thinking about adaptability, as an HR administrator or somebody in HR, your job is so broad. It could be recruitment and selection. It could be industrial relations. It could be employee wellness. It could be performance management. It could be partly payroll. And then you add into the fact that you deal with different levels of organization. So it could be warehouse staff to CEO. that
Yes,
in itself requires a level of adaptability, even
def-
just to do basic functions within your role. So it's a really, really good word. Good one.
definitely. Thank you, ma'am.
Awesome. Right. Right. What did you do? Now, not all of you may have had an internship. So let's talk about maybe perhaps work integrated learning opportunities. What did you do really well in that? What would you look back and go, I achieved this, or I succeeded in that, or the person that you reported to, or the colleagues that you worked with during that time said, you did so well at, or congrats at, or it was so lovely to have you because, what was that? What could you identify from there?
Well, unfortunately for me, I didn't get to have the integrated
Okay,
services, so I cannot answer that question.
that's fine. Have you had any work at all? Any part-time work, volunteer work, anything?
Yes, I was a house committee
Cool.
2023, and I did work before I entered school. I did work as a sales assistant at Garment Division.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you do well there? So think back to those opportunities and have a look at what you really, where did you do well there?
Yes. With the sales assistant, I had to work with people, with different people. So every morning we had sales that we needed to meet by the end of the day. So I had with people, maybe tell them about the discount, tell them what's on sale, or not even what's on sale, but what's popular at that time, what's trending. So I needed
Okay.
to tell them that so that I can up my sales. So I did well with that because I got to adapt with people and um, um, think how they think, or ask them what do they want exactly, and align them with what we have on the store, on the floor. Yes.
Again, super valuable skill for HR. You have influence. You need to question people to get certain information in order to help them, because very often an employee knows they've got a grievance, they don't really know how to unpack it, or a line manager is looking for a staff member and they haven't really thought through what would make sense for their team. And your ability to ask the right questions and to come up with solutions on that basis, super critical skill. So add that to this question on your document because it is very valuable for you. Okay. Anybody else want to share something else, and I can maybe help you align it to where you are?
Yeah, I'd also like to share.
Please carry
So,
on.
yeah, I also like wasn't part of any internship, but I did do some back work.
Okay.
Yeah, some part-time work. I worked for a horse racing company where we had to take bets for people. And so with that work, it's a very with horse racing, it's a very time-sensitive sport because most people they like to take their bets probably 2 minutes before the race starts. So and then they come in queue and be like 10 of them. So you really need to listen to what each person wants. So when they have to come, I have to listen to all 10 of their numbers. Also know that for each number, how much would they like to pay it for. So for me, it was quite difficult at first, but as I worked, I got to learn and I got to memorize all 10 numbers and didn't make any mistake. Because if you'd make a mistake, they'd become angry and they'd want to call the manager and say that you're not good at your work. So I think for me,
Absolutely.
yeah, so for me, it's really memorizing what each person wants and doing exactly what they want.
Cornelia, what job are you applying for, or are you hoping to apply for?
So I'm hoping also to be in the software development
Oh, that's
field.
right. Sorry. Yes. Sorry, I forgot. You're quite right. Okay. So here's the actual skills that you listed. Active listening,
Yeah.
ability to work under pressure, accuracy, and and whether you think about it or not, you are actively in the moment, double checking your work on the fly.
Yeah.
Very valuable skills for software development. you know, and depending on whether you're working in a DevOps agile environment, in real-time systems, so like trading systems where brokers on the back end are trading whether the system's up or not, hugely time sensitive, very valuable skill.
Yeah, thank you.
Got. Awesome, nice one. Okay, lastly, and then we want to wrap up this. So by 10:30, we want to be done this. We want to have saved your document because we're going to move on. What are you naturally good at? So you may not have had it as a subject. You may have. You may do, it's something that comes easily to you. It could be aligned with modules or subjects that you did well at or enjoyed, possibly, but you could be good at something. So let's say, like Cornelia's last example, you've naturally become good at active listening. That's a good one. Or you're naturally good at influencing people to your way of thinking. That's also great. It could be that you are naturally good at negotiation. It could be a million different things. But again, I want you to dig deep and think about the roles that I'm applying for. What about what I'm really good at might be super relevant for those types of positions? Like you're not going to put knitting as an example, or baking bread, unless you are going into hospitality, food and beverage, I guess. Right. We should all have a bit of stuff. If you can please save this document as CV input data, and then you can always go back to it later today or sometime in the next week and add more stuff in, because the more rich your content is, and input is, the better your output's going to be. So we're going to use what you've got for as an example now, but if you go back and fill in some more bits and think about it a little bit deeper, you'll have a far better document at the end of the day. Okay, is everybody comfortable to move on, or is somebody really behind? Because we've got a couple of minutes to past. So I kind of planned till past. So if we want to talk about any one of them, want to circle back to one of the questions, get some more different examples, maybe we can do that. Or if anybody else wants to share so we can try and align it closer, welcome to. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. So can we all give me a thumbs up if you have got some input and you've saved your document? For the people that joined later, I'm assuming that you are maybe not. Thank you. Thanks, Cornelia. Appreciate it. Thank you, Nate. Thank you very much. Everybody else, are you following? You've saved your document, you've got some input. For those that have not confirmed, Princess, you good?
Yes, I'm good. Yes, I'm good.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, so everybody's okay, and you've saved it as input data for CV or input data. So when you're attaching it, we know what document the AI is referring to, because I've scripted the prompt based on this data. Okay, we all okay? Right. The next thing I'd like you to do is to please open up your existing CV, because we're going to do a quick audit of your existing CV, and then we're going to use that CV to do some AI optimizing of it. So while you're opening up your documents, I want to say this to you. Much like when you were looking for a product, any advertisements that you see online, so in newspapers, on websites, the company didn't write it for themselves. They wrote it with you in mind because they knew you were looking for a TV, so they appealed to your sense of requirements when they generated an advert, and your CV is no different. It's for the reader, and the reader is either the line manager, the recruiter, HR, or internal talent acquisitions teams. And when you think about it, we can only make a decision based on what we see in that document. If you know in your head you do something, but it's not there, I can only assume that you don't do it because I don't know you and I don't know what's in your head. And before I, as a human, get to see it, there is that entire applicant tracking system, digital screening that happens in the background. So your CV is not just for the human, it's also for that system that will filter you in or out based on what it sees in your CV. So it's really, really important that you have the right stuff in with the reader in mind so that they know what you want them to know about you. And it has to stand out. So when I open it, is it looking like that bottle of shampoo? Or are you giving me something to assess you against? Are you looking different from the hundreds of thousands of other graduates vying for the same internship, grad opportunities, full-time junior positions that you are looking for? Your CV should be aligned to the roles that you want to apply for. So you can't look like a baker and apply for a software developer, because then you are literally worlds apart from giving me the data I need to assess your suitability. It has to be updated all the time. And it's very important, specifically for fields like IT, where technology stacks change all the time, where your level of competence against the tech stack changes all the time. Because if you tell me that you are a beginner in Excel, but you're 5 years in, and you're now actually almost an advanced user, I'm not going to know that. So if my requirement is advanced Excel, I see that it isn't listed, I'm going to assume you cannot use it, and I'm going to close your CV down. So you need to make sure that your data is updated all of the time. And then your CV needs to be where your audience is going to find you. It does not help if your CV is in your Google Drive, because I'm not in your Google Drive. It needs to be everywhere that recruiters, hiring managers, internal talent teams are likely to find you. So just so that you get an idea, 96% plus recruiters source candidates on LinkedIn, which is why your LinkedIn needs to be optimized once we've done this. But aside from that, recruiters also purchase or subscribe to job portals. So we pay for the job portals that you load your CV on. Now, they're very, very expensive. So no recruiter buys all of them. We're simply unaffordable. So in my business, as an example, I use Careers24 and Executive Placements, but another agency might use Best Jobs and PNet. So if you're only on Careers24, 20% of agencies may not see you at all, but they have 90% of the jobs that you're applying for. So you need to be on all of the job portals to give yourself the best opportunity to be found. But you also need to be where a niche audience can find you. So if you are a software developer, as an example, you might want to have a presence on Stack Overflow, on Git, on some of the subreddits. If you are in a design space, you may want to be on Behance or on Medium or on any of the platforms that allow you to showcase graphic visual content. If you are in PR and communications, you may want to be blogging, you may want to be on a subreddit, you may want to be on Behance, you may want to be on stuff like Medium, where you can showcase written content, because that's where your audience is. That's where I'm hanging out to find people who do those things. So you need to spend some time making sure that you are on every single job portal, and here's the ones I recommend. So PNet, Careers24, Executive Placements. Indeed feeds into some of those already, but be on Indeed. And those are the primary ones that most recruiters in our market use. PNet, Career Junction, Executive Placements, Indeed. Those are the primary ones. There are a lot of smaller ones, but Best Jobs, Job Mail, Job Rapido, there's lots of little ones. They're not well utilized, and sometimes they're predominantly utilized for blue collar workers. So you can be there, it's not going to harm you, but I wouldn't expect a huge amount of output from there. Okay. Any questions on this? Where you think you could be? We happy to move on? Okay. Thank you, Princess. Let's go have a look at these. Now, I've already kind of preempted the answer to this because I gave you a template. But most people, when I ask the question, say they choose template A because it's visually appealing. It's nicely laid out. But the reality is that an applicant tracking system, or the AI behind the screening and filtering of CVs based on my input criteria, gives preference to template B because it's data rich. There's more keywords in it. It's an easier to read format. The ATS systems cannot read graphic images. So whilst I know that this is Photoshop, InDesigner, Illustrator, the system doesn't know the difference between those icons and her image. And so if I put Adobe InDesign plus Graphic Designer, poor Tanya May Martin's CV is going to rank so far down, I'm not going to see her. But if Tanya had done version B and had put it in her duties and her skills, Tanya would have ranked in the top quartile, and I would definitely have seen Tanya's CV. So just bear in mind, you're going to get to a system before you get to the human. So you need to align your CV to the system, and then the human's going to read it after the fact. So whilst you may already have all these ones where there's nice blue blocks or colored blocks down the side and all the fonts on the left, and it's got like, it looks nicely spaced, the system battles with that layout. So do yourself a favor and have a basic text-rich CV. So if we don't have time to edit that now, but if you've used the template and already pre-populated it, please continue to use it. Otherwise, please use the CV that you've got and start editing as you go and just make a note to change templates. Anybody want to ask something, have a comment on this? Check something out? No? We good? Okay. Right. So this is the basic concept of a CV. And when you're looking at your own CV that's open now, I want you to kind of bear this in mind and see where there might be opportunity for you to improve the content that you have in it. So the CV needs to say who you are. Those are your personal details, your name, your gender, where you are, really the basic details. It's the why, so that we call that a value statement, an alignment statement, an executive summary, a profile statement, all the same. That tells me not what you do, but why we should be taking an interest in you. Really, what about you stands out for me? What is your value proposition? What am I getting? What's in it for me when I take you on board? The where is what qualifications you hold, where you worked. So what substantiates your ability to do this job? The what is what have you done? So those are the duties, the day-to-day things that you do in those jobs that would help me decide whether you'll be able to do the day-to-day duties in the job that you're applying for. And then the context is how. So let me give you an example. If you're the developer, as an example, if you developed a basic WordPress site, great, tick the box of web development. But if you developed a complex e-commerce system with thousands of categorized products, with a payment plugin, payment gateway plugin, and a million different backend options, that is context. That gives me some reference to see the space and scope in which you have worked. The same applies to HR. If we're using the HR example, context could be headcount. It could be that your workforce is split amongst wages, contractors, union bargaining councils, anything that shows complexity or volume, that is context. Anybody want to ask some questions around this? Because context and value matter hugely in differentiating yourself in the market. Any questions? Okay. Super, yay. Right. While you've got your CV open and you see some of the things, let's delete them as we go so that you do have less work to do afterwards. There's certain things that you need to leave off your CV, some because we don't need them and some because it's very risky for you. So if you give people too much personal information, it gives them the opportunity to identity clone you. And then they can do all sorts of dodgy things with your data. So you don't need to put your full address. Your suburb and your city is sufficient. So for me, it would be Northcliffe, Johannesburg, or Northcliffe, Gauteng. So if you have your street number, unit, name of your complex, building, you can remove that. We just need to know where you're geographically based. We do not need, and please remove your full ID number. A date of birth is sufficient. Even an age is also fine if you don't want to include your full date of birth, because that in itself probably enough information to do something with. You definitely do not need to include your religion, and it is something I absolutely think you should be leaving off. We don't need to know your marital status or your number of dependents. It has absolutely zero relevance on your ability to perform a job. And it opens up the door for unconscious bias. So as an example, you've got young children as a female, that might mean that you're going to take a lot of time off work when they get sick at school and they've got chicken pox. It's not true, but that's what people think. So you really we just don't want to go there. You just leave it off, and it is not material. You can leave off that you're in good health unless you've got a listed disability or a disability that requires accommodation in the workplace. So if you're in a wheelchair, or as an example, you want to know that there is ramps or lifts. So that might be relevant. So if you don't, there's a you can Google listed disabilities that apply to the BE scorecards. You can see for yourself there what is a requirement. I want to say this though, you do not have to disclose everything. So as an example, if you suffer from a mental illness, although it is a listed disability in the workplace, if you are uncomfortable sharing that, you do not have to put that on your CV at all. It is not a requirement for you to disclose it, because you should not be discriminated against as a result. You can leave off hobbies. So if you've listed all your hobbies, you can remove that from your CV unless it has been requested on a job spec or as a brief, or where you believe at this stage your hobbies and interests are immediately or relevant to the roles that you would be applying for. If that's the case, then you can add it, but it is very often something that you can skip. School achievements, any merit awards, dean's recommendations, you can put on, same as matric. If you graduate, if you won the top scholar of the year award or subject, you can put it on now. If you're 5 years post matric or post work in your working career, you can leave those off. But be mindful that we really definitely don't want to have anything from primary school at this stage even. Okay. Are we good with this? Anybody else have any questions on what could potentially be left off your CV? Or something that you may potentially have on your CV you want to question quickly? Yes, you're welcome to unmute and ask.
Good morning, everyone. I have a question. If you once hold a leadership position in high school, can you put that on your CV? Maybe like you finished your matric 5 years ago. Can you put that on your CV?
At this stage, yes, you can. It would be relevant at this stage, but when you've been working 5 years, I'd say you could probably take it off then.
Okay, thank you.
Very welcome. Okay, cool. Right, here's the things you want. Yes, sorry, there's another question. You're welcome to unmute.
Maybe my question, ma'am, sorry. Maybe it's at the end of the CV, but are we allowed to put or are we still allowed to put references on the CV?
You know, there's no right or wrong answer with references. So you can say references on request, or you can list the references. Please just make very sure that the references that you've put there, you have the person's permission to share their details on your CV, because technically it needs to be compliant with the POPI Act. So if I'm your reference as an example, you should have my permission to share my cell number and my email address. And there's no reason why not. You could, it's a choice. The only thing I'd like to say is if you're currently employed, never, ever, ever put the reference details of your current employer on your CV unless you are being retrenched and your manager is aware of the fact that you're in the market, because otherwise you could potentially be jeopardizing your job when a recruiter accidentally phones your current manager and goes, hey, I'd like to see how Geeta's doing because she applied for a new job. It could be really, really risky. So feel free to add it. Just do not add current managers. In fact, I would just not add the current manager, even if I am being retrenched or whatever, because you can always provide it on request. Does that help you? Yes, you're welcome to ask the question.
Yes, it helps me.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. There's a question?
Okay, good morning, everyone. So I wanted to ask about the languages. Do I have to show on the CV maybe the amount of languages that you know?
You can. But be mindful that it's not relevant in all positions. So as an example, in HR, it could be relevant because you may be dealing with, say, the factory workers where English is not like their best language. And sometimes explaining something to somebody in their home language is more appropriate. And if you're going into, say, an investment banking space, if you're not going to be client facing where you might be sitting with clients, understand English is the predominant business language, in which case that's important. If the job spec specifies bilingual or multilingual, then you want to include it. Do you have to take it off? No. Do you have to include it? Also, no. That's a choice. So it's not right or wrong.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Princess? Princess, you've got your hand up, or is that an old hand?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute the mic.
Okay.
Okay, so the template that I used for my CV gave me the options to, under the education category, gave me the options to also input the subjects that I did on my matric. So I don't know whether it is relevant or I should just...
No. It makes your CV unnecessarily long. Sorry, not wrong, long.
Okay.
But if you're applying for a role and it says must have accountancy in matric, then you're going to add it in for that opportunity. It's like adding every module of every year of every semester in your entire qualification. Nobody reads that. We're only looking for what's relevant to us. So if it asks for it, put it. If you believe it will be material, add it, but don't add it as a standard.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. Right, here's the things you want to double check, that there are dates on your CV. So if you for completed qualifications, there must be a date, and that includes matric and any certifications or short courses that you've done. The names of the institutions must be there. So the name of your high school, the name of the short course. So even if it's Udemy, you want to list the institution you've done it at. And it must be in chronological order from the most recent to the oldest. So matric should be at the bottom, not at the top, as an example. The same with your jobs. They also need to be from the most recent to the oldest. They need to have dates, the start dates, a month and year, to the end date, month and year. You don't have to do the day. And it needs to have your job title, the company name or institutional name, and what it is you did there. So what were the duties that you fulfilled? You want to make sure there's a skills section, so you're listing your skills. And this is not a whole bunch of random generic soft skills. Team player, hardworking, computer literate, good communication. We're talking about software, systems, methodologies. You can use soft skills, but make sure it's really balanced with technical and hardware, software skills. Okay. Context, we've said that before. Have you listed achievements? Have you given me some idea of the scope or complexity of your environment? A value proposition, so that whether you call that an executive summary profile statement, that needs to be there. If you are going to include links, that would be with your personal details, not my LinkedIn name is. It's the actual link that I need to click to go to your LinkedIn or your GitHub or your Reddit account or wherever. You need to make it easy for me to get to your visibility. And then lastly, you want to check consistency. Have you used the same font throughout, the same sized font? If you've made your headings bold, are all of your headings bold? Is all of your alignment correct? Have you done a grammar and spell check? And when you've done a spell check, have you reread the document? Because spell check can correctly spell a word used in the incorrect context. So it's super important that you have double checked all of that stuff. Where possible and not where possible, remove any picture borders, any images. If you've got a front page that goes CV of Geeta Winter with some stock image, unnecessary. You can delete that altogether. So no word art, none of that stuff, because the system, ATS systems, don't like it. And the last thing an ATS system does not love and will not read as easy as it does others is if you've got data in a table. So yes, a table helps you to keep alignment and whatnot, but it is better to have plain text than tabulated text. So if you've got tables in your CV, I highly recommend you take that text out of the table and put it into a free text base. Any questions on this? You've kind of edited your CV and kind of made a note of where you need to change things as we've been going.
One question, sorry.
Yes.
So if you have like a GitHub or a LinkedIn account, you have to put in the links to that.
You don't have to, but it definitely helps.
Thank you.
It definitely gives me a bigger picture of you, especially if you're in IT, because the ability to see contribution to technical discussions and examples of code and how you've helped solve problems, absolutely valuable. Yeah? Happiness? Okay, cool. Right. Any other questions? Okay, Princess, I see you've got your hand up again.
Okay, so I have a question regarding skills, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So again, the template that I got, it only gave me key skills. Like they didn't categorize the skills like soft skills, technical skills. So I mixed all the skills in this one category, which is key skills. So I don't know whether I should change and like categorize my skills or
It
just
would be
leave it
better
like
if
that.
you did, because it makes it easier to read. Remember, you know you've listed all your skills, but the reader now has to sit and work out which is which. So if I'm looking for Sage Evolution and Excel, I now have to read that in between team player, hardworking. You're making it more difficult for the reader to assess your CV. So I would categorize the skills under that heading for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay, I see there's another hand up. Was that an old hand or do you have a different question?
No, I have a question, ma'am. If, like in the other parts, if your chronological order is starting with your matric and then finish with your qualification, is it wrong?
It's less relevant, and because the newer qualifications are probably more relevant to where you are now. So I would reverse order it. The matric should be at the bottom.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Right. Okay, so we're going to skip this for now. Transferable skills we've talked about in the previous one, so I've skipped it. Right. Now we are going to do an AI activity, right? So I'm going to close this and I'm going to share my AI so we can follow along together. But I'm going to copy and paste the prompt into the work item, into the chat, so that you can extract it from there and use it. It's a very long prompt, but it's going to give us tons of stuff. Right. So right, can everybody see the prompts in the chat? Cool. So you're going to open up your Gen AI of choice, Claude, Copilot, ChatGPT, whichever one you like to use. You're going to copy the prompt from Act as an expert career strategist all the way to the bottom, and you're going to include your current CV and the 5 job specs that you needed to save for today. So you should have had all 5 job specs on one document, and you're going to input it now. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to do this. I'm going to show you on my own one. I just need to use my authenticator to get into my system. All right. Stop share. Now we're going to reshare. But can you see my my what you call it, my Copilot screen?
Yes, we can.
Super duper. So there's the prompt. So I'm pasting my prompt. I just need to delete this input. And I'm going to upload my own CV. So let me just do that. It's not going to give us a great output because my CV is not aligned to anybody's jobs here. Let's go documents. So is everybody following? You able to add your own stuff so far? Copy the prompt in. To CV. Okay, let me find a job spec quickly. Okay, so everybody saw what I did. I've pasted the prompt, I've uploaded my CV and the job specs, right? And then we're just going to run this prompt. It is a long one and it's going to give us lots of data, so it does take a little bit of time. Everybody okay? Anybody need some help at this point while it's busy assessing my example?
Can I ask a question?
Please.
What is the prompt and what is used for?
Okay, so you'll see if you read the prompt, it is going to find the right keywords for your CV based on the 5 job specs that you're inputting. It's going to compare those job specs with your CV. So it's going to give you feedback on what is already seen in your CV, what is not seen in your CV, how you can optimize your CV with the better language structure that is used commonly against the job specs. It's also going to start helping you to look for ways to use your transferable skills to directly align with the job.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's see, has it done it? Okay, here we go. All right. So now you can see, based on that job spec, the keywords that should have been here are everything that's on the left-hand side. So HR administration. It can find it in my CV, but it's telling me that where it's present. Here you can see that there's partially found in my CV, right? However, this is an example of where I said, I know that I know this, but I didn't write that I know this, so nobody's going to know that besides me. So I every day work with the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, the Labor Relations Acts, and POPI, but it didn't see it in my CV. I said compliance and statutory controls, but I didn't talk about the act specifically. So that triggers an opportunity for me to go and add those words into my CV because it was prevalent on the job specs that I used as an example. Do you see what I mean? Does it make sense? Or is everybody like, no, not making sense at all? Or maybe let's talk about your own output. So once you've run the prompt, let's have a look at yours. And you see this one asks for advanced Excel, said I must add it, but I genuinely, in all honesty, do not have advanced Excel. So I'm not going to add that just because it said so, because I couldn't do this if you gave me an assessment.
Sorry, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Do you want to talk about somebody's output? Somebody want to give me an example of something that came up for them?
I'm running behind. Can I please ask, when you go to PayNet, you copy and paste the requirements?
Yes, you should have done this in the beginning. So if you haven't got a job spec, maybe for the purpose of this one, just take one for now. You copy and paste the whole job spec. So the requirements, the duties, and so the requirements, the duty, the role overview, save it on a document and then upload it with this prompt.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
When you do this exercise again, take 5 or so jobs that you want to apply for, because the bigger the spread of the jobs, the more it's going to align your CV to multiple different positions in your space. One is too small of a sample to really give you a really strong market CV. Okay. But just for today,
Okay,
one's good. Cool. Everybody else okay? And you'll see it's going to help you change the structure and tone of the language that you use based on the language that is used commonly in the industry you're heading into. So if you look at mine as an example, mine says payroll preparation, input and management. It is suggesting that I say administered payroll, time and attendance, because they use time and attendance across most of the job specs, but I used payroll only. So that's a very good suggestion for what I could potentially be missing out on because I didn't have the right keywords in. So here's an example again. It said ad hoc work readiness training and career coaching. Here it's suggesting I say coordinated and facilitated readiness programs, developed training material and tracked outcomes. So that's very good feedback if I were applying for this HR regional manager position. So when somebody's got their output, let's talk about it a little bit, because then we can make it relevant for you. Because what you're going to do with this is you're going to save it and you're going to edit your CV accordingly so that you know you've got all these keywords in. So by the time we get to prompt number 3, it's doing a final check for you. Anybody run it or anybody stuck on battling to get it to work nicely? Are some of us still looking for job specs? maybe, so we're a little bit behind. Anybody ready to talk about their output?
Yes, mine is finished.
Okay. What do you notice from it? Does it give you some really good ideas of what you could potentially be doing?
Yeah.
What was the one that stands out the most for you?
I think for me, it says that I'm missing a lot of things relating to the jobs that I really want.
Okay. And are there some things that you go, actually, I do this, it's just not on my CV, or are there some things that you don't do at all that you think are a gap?
I think what can I say is that probably maybe I didn't include as much information as I should have, because with the CV that I had, I did include the short courses that I did. So it's telling me that
Okay.
I'm missing certain things that are relating to this, but actually I have done short courses relating to that, but it's just that I did include them in the CV that I had.
Oh, that's awesome. That's very valuable feedback. I'm really glad. That's good.
Yeah.
And if you go to your where you're already strong, so if you go to section 3, has the suggestions that are there, is that
Yeah.
helpful as well?
Let's see. Yeah, it is telling me that maybe because I wrote like one word, keywords, telling me maybe to expand. I see there's one that I wrote in my CV that I said leadership as one of my skills, and then it says that maybe I should expand and say that lead small groups and coordinated tasks under pressure.
There
So
you
it
go.
is giving me some feedback.
That's very nice. Because if you have a look at mine, right? So skills and transferable strings, that's also a very helpful thing. And it shows you how to showcase it. So that's very helpful. But what I really want you to look at is part 2, alternative job titles and search strategies. So they're gonna give you a whole bunch of options that you can use as job titles. So when you go to PNet and the like, you can try some of those to find different jobs where people have called it different things. You see under
Yeah.
part 2.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
And then you'll probably understand a Boolean search string. So I'll have written Boolean search strings for you to put into Google, so that will help you to find where these jobs are actually listed.
Yeah.
And then you see it's starting to help you write a LinkedIn optimization in part 3. It's helping you write an about section for your LinkedIn already.
Yeah. This is really helpful.
Good. And then you see at part 3, number 3, it's showing you what you could showcase as a portfolio of evidence for yourself.
Yeah.
Cool. And you'll see on mine, it's telling me upload 4 more job specs because I told it that we're going to use 5 or more. So, but yeah. So how many job specs did you use when you initially ran this? More than one or just one?
I used 5.
Okay, so you got some really good output. So what
Yeah.
that means is yours is going to optimize it across 5 different types of roles, so that when your CV's finished, you're good for that entire basket of job specs and related job specs. So it's a really good output. Nice. So while everybody else is kind of working on theirs, taking this chance to add some of these things to your CV, because in the next prompt we run, we're going to use the CV input data, and it's going to start looking at transferable skills, projects, and incorporating that into your CV. Good job. Nicely done. Anybody else want to have a chat about their output?
Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, okay. My PC is giving me a little bit of a problem, but I do understand the process, so I'm
Okay.
still trying.
Alrighty. You're going to
Yeah.
love tech, eh? Tech works wonderfully when it works, and when it doesn't, it's such a pain.
Okay.
Okay, I see another hand. You're welcome to unmute.
Okay, I'd like to know that you do this for each and every job you're applying for, or
No, well, there's a different prompt if you want to apply and customize your CV for one specific job. What this is going to do when you've used enough jobs, so if you upload 5 jobs in one go on that one document, it's going to create a CV that you can put on the job portals, because you can only put one CV on a job portal and one profile on LinkedIn. So you want to make sure that your CV is good for multiple jobs in a category of jobs. So this is going to make sure that that's what this does. If you're applying to one job, I'll give you a different prompt to align your CV for that one job. But that's not possible for a job portal. Does that help? Does that answer the question?
yeah. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Have you run the prompt already? So have you got some output? Anybody else want to, let's talk about your output a little bit. Anybody stuck maybe or want some help? Want to share what you've got? And if those of you that have done it and you're not wanting to share, if you can just start working, just start editing some of the bits of your CV. Because we will be using it in the next prompt, the saved version. It won't be perfect now, but that's okay. Right, so we all run a prompt, save the output, saved any edits you made to your CV so that we can look at the next one. If you need a few more minutes, just shout so that we know that we don't leave somebody behind. Good. Thank you for that. Okay, then I'm going to copy prompt number 2 into the chat now. And this one is going to be using your input data, because what we're now looking for is transferable skill. We're starting to look for value. We're starting to look for deeper alignment. We're starting to double check that you've incorporated all of your previous experiences into your CV that can give context and value. So here's prompt number 2. And in this instance, you are uploading the job specs, your CV, and the CV input data as your prompt. Do you want me to run it again? I don't have CV input data, but are you good for that? So you're going to copy prompt number 2. your input data, your CV, and the job specs. So you're only going to write it from here, from action down. That's your instructions above. Everybody okay with this one? Want me to repeat anything, or are we good to run this one?
Can you explain it for me, please?
No worries. So you're going to copy from just below input data. So you're going to copy from action all the way down to the bottom on the chat into your AI. You're going to upload your CV, the one that we've just edited. So if you haven't edited, just use the one you've got, plus the CV input data that we worked on earlier this morning, and your 3 job specs. And then you're going to run this prompt, because what it's going to do, it's going to look at all of the input you gave to start using transferable skills, everything that we hadn't thought about. It's going to start looking at value. It's going to start looking at your soft skills that we can now use to meet up your CV a little bit. Does that make sense, Princess?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
No, can you please explain that again? I didn't hear you correctly, ma'am. I'm sorry.
No worries. So you're going to open up whichever Gen AI you're using, ChatGPT, Copilot, whichever one you choose to use. You're going to go to the chat and you're going to copy from action. So just the below input 3, you're going to copy it from action all the way to the bottom. You're going to upload your CV, the CV input data document we worked on this morning, and the job specs, and you're going to run the prompt. Make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. So if you had managed to do that CV input document fully this morning, which is why I say go back to it afterwards, you'll see on point number 2 of the desired output, it's taking that info and it is trying to align it with the corresponding skill or experience so that it's utilizing all of your transferable skills to represent your suitability for a role. So it's worthwhile going back and spending a little bit of time with that input data and then rerunning this before you send your CV to me at the end of this, not today, but by the, and when you've run it or you're getting stuck, just shout and let's talk about your output a little bit so that we can see where you're adding stuff to your CV and that you've got you've got some good output that will help you walk on your CV, or work on your CV rather, not walk on it, work on it. Anybody finished running the prompt and want to talk about how different it is from your original output? Anybody stuck? Need some help?
I have a question. I think
Yes.
I want to ask that when it gives you, okay, I've run the prompts and I've seen what it gives me. So I want to ask that it takes information based on what, like how does it return the response?
Okay, so it's taking the information that you loaded as in your input data. So remember that document we worked on this morning.
Yes.
So it's going to reference any projects, any data, any extra work, back work, volunteer opportunities, skills that are potential transferable skills that can represent knowledge and application of skill from and against the job specs. And
Okay.
it's going to reference any edits you made in your CV from the first iteration of your prompt. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so is your output very different or is it very similar?
I'd say it's very different. I think now it's has become a bit broader than it was
Yeah,
before
yes.
because
And
now it
imagine if you went and spent a little bit more time on that input data and you put in a couple more projects and a couple more things, how much broader it would showcase your actual ability to perform a job.
yeah, I see. Because I did put a little information, so now I see that if I maybe spent some more time putting in the projects and assignments that I did, could have been more broad. I think I'm a bit shocked as well to the things that it says I can do. I'm like, oh, okay, so I
And do you
can do
believe
that.
you can do them, or do you think it's making stuff up?
I think I can do them
You
because
see,
it's things that I have done. Just didn't know that I actually can do this.
yeah. And that's what I say to students or grads all the time. We think we have very little to offer, but actually we have a lot more when we think about it differently. We
Yeah,
hold so much that we think on is not really applicable, and it really is. So I'm really glad you got to see that. It's awesome. Yay.
thank you.
Awesome. Anybody else done any has have any insights or something that surprises you? Or I know some of you may not have worked on that input document as much as we could have, so it may be limited feedback at this point, because we want to kind of wrap up this and start moving on to, we're going to skip prompt 3. I'm going to provide it to you. You really only want to use prompt 3 when you've finished editing, when you've finished working on and tweaking all the other documents, because that will really do a final check on your CV and make sure that it's really relevant now. So I'm going to give you prompt 3, but we're not going to use it today. So if you can just copy prompt 3 so that you can use it at a later stage. And I'll if you need me to explain what to do with prompt 3, I'll happily do it, but it's not valuable really to do it now until you've worked on your CV. Because from here, we're going to go and do some work on your LinkedIn so that your LinkedIn is a little bit stronger than it started off with. Are we all good? Anybody want to question something and where we're at now before we move on to LinkedIn?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so when you have when you're getting the results, when you're done uploading a CV, the prompts and all that, do you make another CV, new CV?
Yeah, no, well, you're not going to make a new CV. You're going to edit the CV based on the output. So you're going to use all of the recommendations, all of the suggestions. You're going to add where you may have left stuff off. So you're going to edit the version that you've got so that it's more complete.
Oh, okay. So can you do this for bursaries when the bursaries wants the CV?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Cool. Are you applying for a bursary next year?
Yes, I'm applying for a bursary.
Okay, so the stronger you make it, the more relevant you are to their space. Because remember, a bursary means there's a work back, right?
Yes.
So ultimately what you're doing is you're saying, please invest in me because I'm going to add value when I get there. So
Okay.
yes, it's so relevant. And the stronger you make it now, the better off your chances are.
Thank you.
When is the bursary deadline?
It's the other one is on Friday, 20th. The other one is on the 10th. Yeah.
Friday. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So because it's so deadline sensitive for you, you saw at the end of this that I have offered to review CVs, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what I want you to do is you really focus on it. And I have very limited time this week because I'm doing this workshop all 4 days this week. So maybe what you can do is if you work on yours dedicated, send it to me, tell me bursary deadline. I will make sure that I review it and give you feedback in time for your next deadline. Okay.
Okay, so can I get an email or?
It should be there, but at the end of the session, I'll put it in the chat again. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but you have to have done all the work first. I'm not going to do your CV. You need to have applied all the prompts, done all the work.
Yes, yes.
Give me a fully completed inputs document, and then I will make sure that you're ready for that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. Right, is everybody okay? Can we move on to looking at LinkedIn? So you kind of want to have your LinkedIn profiles open so that we can go along and see where you need to work. We don't need it right this minute, so we're going to look at some fundamentals and then we're going to do LinkedIn. Is everybody okay to move on? Because I don't want to leave people behind. I want to make sure that you're okay. You don't have any questions. There's time for questions at the end, so I'm not going to dump you, but just so that if anybody's got a burning question, we can cover it now, or we're good. We're good. Okay. Let's go and check out LinkedIn. So I just want to close this down and I want to open up LinkedIn. Today's the, okay. Let me share. So again, in the interest of time, I'm going to skip some of these slides. So can everybody see the screen again? We good?
Sorry, ma'am.
Yes.
Will the recording be available?
You need to ask Sakele about that because I'm not responsible for the recording.
Okay, it's just that there's an emergency here at home, so I need to attend it. So I wanted to, be out of the class.
Sorry. No, I don't know. Sorry.
Okay,
Good
sorry,
luck.
does she need a recording for this?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
I
she'll
do.
get the
I
recording
do need a
later on.
recording.
We're gonna post it up on our YouTube channel, the DUT Rise
Okay.
YouTube. Okay, yeah, we're gonna tell you guys when to just check it out because yeah, we're gonna upload it once we're done with all the sessions.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
Okay,
so
good
much.
luck. Okay, right. So this is the most important thing to know about LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn is fundamentally your online brand and your live CV at all times. Anybody, in fact, billions of users on LinkedIn can access your data. And some people go, oh, but isn't that risky? Well, no, not really, because you want to be visible, right? You want to be available in the job market. You want to start developing your brand. And that's where your profile comes in. So that is all the basic information sections that are on LinkedIn. When people look at you, are they seeing a full picture of you? That's your profile section. The next kind of thing is, what content do you produce? What evidence of knowledge, skills, experience, thought leadership do you have? And that's the content that you engage with. Now, it could be you like something, it could be you share something, it could be you comment on something, and it could be that you generate your own content. All of that forms a picture about you and is something that you genuinely need to be mindful of and engage with and focus on. No content, very little to kind of look at you against, and you want to be visible. Your network is important. So if you have a very small network, you're seen by very, very few people, not helpful at all. If your network is full of your family and friends, it is also not strategic. It is unlikely to help you. Your network needs to be strategic. So it needs to be full of people that are in the position you want to apply for, that are employed by the companies you want to be employed by. There are recruiters in your space. There are HR people in your space. There are managers that you're likely to report to in the roles that you are applying for. And they should be talent acquisition or internal recruiters that are likely to have influence over your ability to get a job. So you need to look at your LinkedIn networks now. You kind of need to do an audit on where you're at now to see whether your network is helping you or hurting you at this point. Same with your content, same with your profile. And then you need to understand the algorithms, the settings, the structures that LinkedIn operates with and within. So my rule is you need to understand the rules of the game and then play them better than somebody else. So somebody might know something but not utilize it. It's not valuable. And if you don't understand LinkedIn's algorithms, it's like playing rugby with swimming's rules. Completely counterproductive. And none of these things work in isolation. So you can't produce beautiful content that really demonstrates that you're a thought leader, but nobody sees it. And you can't have a lot of good network, but you produce nothing for them to kind of look at you against. Not helpful at all. And you can't have a poor profile that a good network is going to see, because it is not going to help you at all. Right. This is the LinkedIn pillars of LinkedIn success. It's the same as any brand, any product. You need to know the product exists. So that's how visible you are. And on LinkedIn, like your CV, it has to have the right keywords for me to search you against. Otherwise, you don't feature. Once I've seen you, I need to learn to like you. I need to be able to create a connection with you. So it's like you searched for sneakers, a bunch of sneakers come up. You've got to like the sneaker for you to be able to engage with it. So you've got to click on it to look at it again. Otherwise, there's no point. And then you've got to trust it. And I've got to be able to trust you as a person. And that is how you build credibility. It's the content you produce. it's the outputs, it's the continuous engagement that builds your brand that gets me to trust you. And when all three of these things happen, it is then that you start to get the most engagement and levels of commitment and of interaction on LinkedIn. Okay. Think of LinkedIn as a constant event, right? It's an event that never ends. Multiple time zones, multiple people, thousands of different areas can look at you at any given point in time. Your job is to make sure that what they see is what is representative of your brand, what you want them to see. And you've got to remember that what they see and what they interpret sometimes are two different things. So you've got to audit your content that it is consumed in the way that you want it to look. Right. So here's some examples of really incomplete. So when I search, this is what I see. I see no picture, very little information. That bottle of shampoo thing comes to mind again. Much of a muchness, no differentiator, barring what you may have studied. Not much. Have a look at this. This person said they're detail-orientated, but they haven't even completed their own LinkedIn profile. So now you've told me something that you're not living. You've undone my detail-orientated statement by completely not demonstrating that on your own profile. So when I say be careful of what you put out there, make sure that when you say it, you've backed it up somewhere, right? They say they're ready to make a difference. You weren't even invested enough in completing your own things. So it's not speaking to me at all. Here's better examples. At least a good professional photo at the top. Didn't have a banner, but we're getting there. Have a look at the bottom one. Open to work is a registered nurse, but take a look at the choice of outfit for a professional network. What do you think? Let's get your opinion. Let's be honest, it's a probably beautiful dress. Do you think it's appropriate for a nurse on LinkedIn? What would have been better?
I think maybe the uniform would have been probably better.
100%. Totally agree with you. Anybody have a different opinion? Is she presenting a personal brand that speaks professionalism in her space? Is she beautiful? Probably, no doubt, but that's also open to other people's interpretation. But I would hazard a guess to say not speaking the personal brand, unless, maybe this is her brand, in which case then I've got to decide whether it's my brand for my business or my hospital, right? Here's my example. If you were to look at me, okay, this is hidden behind the pencil because it's my view. So my banner speaks about what I do. It's recruitment that feels human because it is. You've got my name. You're able to contact me. It's got my designation stickers or whatever you call those things, icons. If you read my headline, you would know that I am a recruiter and a coach. You could see that I'm an ABSO board member. There's a professional photo, no background. It says something about me. Do you agree that this is different to this? And you see there's a marked difference in this.
Yes.
Right. So if on your own profile, if we were to look at it now, and I did this banner for free on Canva. So you don't even have to have paid tools. You can go to Canva for free and create your own personalized banner. Not difficult. So if you look at yours now, does it have your name with capitals and not all lowercase, not all uppercase? Does it have a good photo? Does it have a banner that speaks about you? Does it have a header that says what you do and what you're aspiring to do? So if you don't, you want to note it now so that you can edit it. I will share with you now a link that will remove backgrounds on photos for you for free. because you also don't want to have that typical photo where you're taking a selfie, you can see the camera, your phone in the mirror, or the urinals in the background, or your friend's fingers over your shoulder, or your friend in the background. Everybody okay? Kind of having a look at your own and seeing where work needs to be done? Can we move? We all good? Cool, thank you. Right, so these are the core elements of a good profile. Your visuals, your header, and your about section are critical. It's what people see first when they open up your profile. It immediately sets the tone for your personal brand. It says something about you straight off the bat. Okay. Now, remember when I said to you that keywords are important for visibility and to find you? All of the sections below are the opportunities to put keywords in. So all the projects that you did during university that are relevant can be added to the project section. Your volunteer work, your career and your experience, your qualifications, your skills section, pinned and featured posts, all of those give you opportunity to highlight certain things and to make sure that you have enough search words or keywords in your profile that will rank you higher when I search for you, right? So have a look at these lists of profile sections. How many of these are you not using right now? Or where you have got these sections, how complete are they? Now, remember I said to you that you're going to use your CV for this. So right now you might not be able to edit it fully because you're going to use your fully completed CV and you're going to copy and paste much of this information into here, including the About Me section. So you might not have it at your fingertips now, but I really just want you to note where are your opportunities that you've missed. Anybody want to ask questions on this so long? I'm going to show you examples now. I'm going to go into my own LinkedIn. We can have a look. Who here has not personalized your URL name on LinkedIn? So your personalized URL now goes a name 245AB235, a whole bunch of random things. It's your brand. Coca-Cola doesn't have Coca-Cola 3429ZI. It's Coca-Cola. So it's your brand. You want to personalize it. So let's see how you do that quickly. So to personalize your brand, you want to click on your own profile. So click on your picture somewhere on the left-hand side. You want to go to the far right and you want to select public profile and URL. It will then show you to edit it. You're going to click the little pencil button. And then you're going to type in whatever it is that you want to personalize your URL to. So I've chosen my name and surname. It just makes the most sense. But you've got 100 characters. So don't do your middle name if you're not known by your middle name. Don't do Geeta Winter, business analyst / business developer / It needs to be short. It needs to be something that speaks, that is you. Name and surname make the most sense. But if you've got an incredibly long name, you could do your known name and surname. Everybody okay with this? You seeing where to do it? Because you should be in your LinkedIn now. Or at the very least, just remove all the random numbers.
Please help me. I can't see where to do that.
Okay, let me quickly go into my own LinkedIn and then we will. Is my screen sharing changing as we go?
Yes.
Okay, so if this were the page you clicked into, you see this section over here. If you click on yourself anywhere here,
Yes.
okay, it will take you there. Then you go to public and public profile and URL, and you click the little pencil. Do you see that?
I think it's the public profile. I can't see that.
Okay, so let's go back one. So you've clicked in your own profile. So you've clicked here on yourself, right? You've got to literally click onto yourself, so you're in your own profile.
Yes, I am.
Are you doing it on your phone or on your desktop?
On my phone.
Okay, because you might have to scroll, so it might not look exactly the same as it does here. Let me just use it let me do it on my own phone. Let me quickly see if I can find it for you. Give me a seckie. So I click on myself. Then I go. Account preferences. Sorry, I don't use it I don't do this stuff on my phone normally. Personal demographics. Oh. Okay, so you go under settings on your phone.
Okay.
Then you go to visibility.
Visibility.
You see visibility?
So you click on where it says accounts preferences.
No. So you go to settings, then you see visibility is the third one down.
Okay.
Underneath sign in and security, you click visibility. Do you see that now?
Checking for it. I think settings I can't find.
Okay, so let's go back to the front page. So you've signed into LinkedIn on your phone.
Yes.
Then use your photo in the top left-hand corner.
Yes, I see that.
You click your photo.
Oh, I can see settings now.
Okay. Then visibility is the third one down.
Yes.
Then the third one down under visibility is edit your public profile.
Yes.
Then you see edit your custom URL. There's that little pencil picture.
I see it. I see it.
Cool. Then you just change it there. Everybody else okay with that? Anybody else struggling? We've all changed your personal URL so that it's customized for you. Then when you're clicking your link to LinkedIn for your CV, you would copy this bit at the top and you'd paste that in. Otherwise, what you're copying in is all those random numbers on your perfectly generated CV. Anybody else good? So we've all changed our URL so that it is nicely customized. Yes, no, maybe? Cool. Thank you for that. Thank you for confirming. Right. Can we move? Okay. So we've done that. Featured posts. So if I go back to my own LinkedIn profile, so let me go back there. Once you've seen this initial thing, this is what you click on when you log in. You scroll down, you're going to see the About Me section, but you're going to see featured posts. These are the things that you will show me when I look at you. It's the things you really, really want me to know. It could be achievements, successes, key thought posts that you've made. So you can see that I've chosen to use awards, professional designations. That's what I've chosen to use as my featured post. So when a person goes into my profile, this is what they see first. It doesn't have to be this, but it can be. They can be anything you like. So if you want to do it, you go to your profile, you go add a profile section. There's recommended ones and there's additional ones. You just choose the ones that you want to add. Choose as many of these that make sense. Honors and awards, patents, publications, languages, all of them are very, very key. But here's a whole one that says education. Here's recommended ones. Here's additional ones. Use as many of them as you can, because all of them give you opportunity to add keywords. So when you've done your CV, you're going to go to all of these sections and you're going to copy and paste the data from your amended CV into this. So the work is already done once you've completed your CV. Does that make sense? Yeah? Happiness? Cool. Right. So once you've done that, you'll see that I've added all my jobs. If you click in my jobs, you'll see that there are duties and responsibilities. The one thing I do want to say in this section is that LinkedIn limits the amount of characters you're allowed. So you want to maybe choose the most relevant duties that you've got so that you don't skip too much stuff off. Here's the education section. You can see that it is ordered. It's not ordered. Never mind that. But you can see all of the qualifications that I've listed. You can see all my licenses and certifications that I've got. All of those have been listed. You can see I've used the volunteering section. You can see that I've got 43 listed skills. And if we look at it, you will see that none of them are not related to what it is that I do. And LinkedIn will categorize them for you into industry knowledge and to interpersonal skills. You can use, I can't remember what the limit is, but you can use easily 50 or so skills. The question I have for you is, why would you want to though? So I've got 43 skills, and those were defined by the words that my industry uses the most, but the prompts that I've given you will determine this for you based on your CV and based on the keywords that you ought to have in there. You can order them, right? So if I went into here and I decided that I needed to reorder these things, you are able to take it and to move it to the top, right? So it's going to say, tell us where you put this, save it, move it. It will give you the options that you want. Here, you can reorder it, right? So you can decide that I want, let's say, recruiting to be first. I'm going to take recruiting and I'm going to move it to the top. Then when we close it down, recruiting will be the first skill that you see. So when you are looking at your skills section, make it the most relevant to the jobs you're going to apply for. Don't put, as an example, computer literate, then list Excel, then list C#, then list SQL, because computer literate then explains all of that. Utilize the words more strategically. Does that make sense, or would you like us to talk about the skill section a little bit more? Anybody have any questions? Want to talk about their own one? All good. Thank you for that. Thanks for acknowledging. Appreciate it. You can then see there's a recommendations section, and I've used honors and awards, and I've used English, right? And I've used the organizations that I have a membership with. People can also see who you follow, which companies you follow, the groups that you follow, the newsletters that you subscribe to, and all of these things speak about your brand. So when you are, one of the prompts that we're going to do now will tell you which groups they recommend that you follow or belong to. But when you've applied for a job on LinkedIn, you want to immediately go and follow that company because it's going to give you insights. You're part of a group. You want to look at newsletters strategically. So you're not going to follow every random newsletter that comes into your feed. You'll see that a lot of mine are either sourcing, recruitment and advice, future of work, all sorts of things, entrepreneurship, talent leadership. All of mine are very geared towards the space that I'm in. And same as my groups. So if you go and have a look, these are spaces that I recruit in. HR Recruiters Hub, South African Business Networks, mentorship rooms. All of my stuff is very, very geared to the spaces that I play in. Yours needs to look the same. Top voices that I follow are all very much recruitment orientated, thought leaders in my space, HR authors, very much in my area of specialization. Okay, so think carefully about when I go and look at the people that you follow, the groups that you belong to, what is it saying about your brand? What assumptions am I making as a result of what you're giving me to see? If you've worked for a while, you've got work opportunities, you're able to ask people for some recommendations, I suggest that you do. It's almost like an online reference. It's that social proof. It's like if you were on Takealot and you looked at a product and you looked at the ratings or what people had to say about that product. The same thing applies here. So if you've got the opportunity, really, I would really recommend that you do it if you can. Right. If you go to LinkedIn Jobs, so let's go to Jobs. You'll see that it is suggesting jobs for me, and that's based on my profile, my preferences, and my activities, what I've searched for, what I've saved, what I've applied to. You can go here and create some alerts, right? You can say you're open to work. You can choose alerts. You can go and create a CV that is going to use. And I recommend that you only do this when you have edited and saved the CV from this exercise. But again, what I'm saying to you is, let's say I went to Brown's Jewelers. Let's say I applied for this internal recruiter position. I'm going to go, if I click easy apply, let me just do it for the sake of it. It's going to tell you what I want. Then if I go next, it's going to save the CV. You got the CV that I saved, and you can see this is my recent CV. So I can choose this one or can upload a new one, and I go next. Have you completed the level of education, bachelor's degree? Yes. Okay. Review your application, then you're going to submit. I'm not going to do this because I really don't want to apply for another job. Discard. Okay. But once I've done that, I'm going to go to Brown's Jewelers. I'm going to follow. See, I'm already following Brown's Jewelers. You're going to follow them. Now I'm going to go and look for people at Brown's Jewelers. So if you were going to be in digital marketing, you would want to go and follow this person, right? You're going to go and find the marketing manager. You're going to follow that person. You're going to, there's an HR manager. You want to connect with that person. If you were in finance, I want to connect with all the finance people, because you want to start building visibility with the people that you are looking to be employed with. You're not going to immediately reach out to them. You're going to keep them on your radar. You're going to go and have a look at, what does Kayla Lowe post about? Is there opportunity for me to comment on some of her posts? Could I see here, she's posting about the Mall of Africa. Here she's talking about jobs she's advertising. So go and have a look at what you can engage with her on. Go and see where there are mutual connections, common groups. So me and Kayla are already in four groups together. So that means the more engaged I am in those groups, the more Kayla's likely to see me when I do engage with that group. So if we go to this group, you can see there's a whole bunch of posts. What does a lion, a dolphin, and a monkey have to do with your team's performance? So if I like this, I can have a comment about this. I can like it. I can comment on it. And what's going to happen? Ahmed is going to go and see my comments, my posts. I'm going to become visible in this network. That's what you want. Constant visibility. The more you're seen, the more you are liked. Your consistency gives you trust. Trust gives you opportunities. And the thing I want to say the most about LinkedIn is that LinkedIn rewards activity. Recruiters love activity because that is what gives you visibility. And that activity is going to lead you to opportunities, provided you're seen by the right people. Questions on this? Groups, networking, jobs, your profile, before we move on to giving you some content ideas for yourself? Anybody want to go back to some of the sections we've looked at? Okay. Let's talk about some of the posts people make. So this was an IT student looking to go into business analysis. You can see he's a grad. He's got his whole outfit on. He's got an open to work banner. He posted these 3 pictures and his comment was, or his post said, critical thinking and decision making. Thumbs up. Who would have liked this post? Who believes this is a strong indication of critical thinking and ability to make decisions? Who would have liked this post? Nobody. Okay. Give me a thumbs up now if you would definitely not have engaged with this post. Good. Thank you for that. Awesome. Thanks, Akine. You would not have engaged with this post at all. Right. You are 100% right to not be. First of all, yes, he did some critical thinking, but it was lack of accountability, lack of following rules, compounded by theft. I would never consider this grad for my working environment, nor would I have considered any of the people that liked the post or commented on how clever this was. Had this guy, and you heard, this is where I talk about context again. Had this guy given some context, emergency, only parking available, went back, paid my fine, returned the clamp, here's evidence of that. Different story altogether. So what we post, what we like, what we comment on, brands us as much as the person that posts it. So be very mindful of what you choose to engage with, because it creates an impression of you as much as it does anybody else. Right? I'm going to skip this one. Okay. When you post and comment, you're giving a representation of your prior related experience, your potential soft skills, your application of learning, your views and opinions, and your technical knowledge. All of these are opportunities to set yourself apart from the hundreds and thousands of other students or grads that are in the market for the same positions. So you want to be very mindful of what it is that you put out there, but you also want to be very consistent in your posts and comments. So here's a guideline, and it's something I highly recommend at this stage because you want to build your brand quickly. I would like to say that you do this twice a week, although once a week is a bare minimum. You want to like 4 posts. Strategic posts, people that are in your strategic network, not your 3 buddies posts. So go and find people that are in recruiters, hiring managers, HR managers. Go and have a look for posts they have and like some of those. It is better to comment on them. So I'd like you to comment on 2 of them and think about what your comment says about you. Consider the audience. Who's going to be reading your comment? And then use the notification option when you know they are posting. So you can, there's a little like a bell thing on somebody's profile. It will alert you and put content of theirs in your feed so that you can strategically stay on somebody's radar. You don't want to be obvious about it. So it's not stalking. You want to be commenting and engaging on posts that you have something to comment and engage on. So it needs to be, you want to make it up. It needs to be authentic about you. So you can't have a strong opinion about everything. So be selective about what you comment on, but comment. So have a good few people so that you're not commenting on one person's posts every day. You're spreading yourself along to give you visibility across more people. And then you want to create 1 or more unique posts per week so that you can share content with your own commentary. And this could be a lot of different things. So we're going to use a prompt now to give you some ideas. But I really, really recommend that you, from the newsletters that you read, from the South African news, from things that are topical in your industry, from best practice internationally, bank a couple of ideas. Just file them as you come across them, because you can use that to come up with things. Think about milestones, achievements, your graduation, core projects that you've worked on. So let's say you see a trend on automation in the workplace, and you did that project that was on automating irrigation and data analytics. You could talk about that, but reference the project you did so it shows application of knowledge and skill. That brands you really, really well. Right. When we talked about the algorithms a little bit earlier, this was at May. The latest one comes out now at the end of November. So this might change. But think about yourselves. How many of us are mobile users? We use our phone for apps. Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, it's mostly on our phones. And if you think about how you're using it yourself, how quickly are you scrolling before something catches your interest and you stop and have a look? The same is true on LinkedIn. If I'm searching for a software developer graduate, I'm also scrolling pretty fast until something catches my attention. So you need to bear that in mind. Currently, content with images and videos still dominates. So you want to have an image or a video along with anything you post. You'll see that AI spits out 10 tons of emojis. If you overutilize emojis, your posts are automatically ranked 20% less than other posts. You want to engage with other posts and content about 15-20 minutes before you post your own. It's a very weird stat, but it is actually, I've tested it, it actually does work. And you want to like and comment on your own post only after somebody else has. Again, I'm going to say to you, LinkedIn rewards activity and they view activity as engagement on a post. So where somebody has commented or liked your post, you want to go and reference that. So you'll see if you go to any one of my posts, when somebody has a comment, I respond to it so that I create an engagement that LinkedIn that views as activity. It helps you be visible. So I highly recommend that you do it. Right, AI copy and paste, you get 74% less engagement. People prefer authentic posts. So by all means, use AI, but edit it, make it authentic, refine it all the time. If you post that address specific roles or industries, see 2.3 times more interaction. So if you specifically reference a manufacturing or automotive or FMCG or banking, your posts are going to get more engagement. Polls still rank quite highly, so you're getting 20% more engagement compared to this time last year. So if you've created a post and you then add a poll, you're going to get automatically 20% more visibility. You can tag people in posts, maximum 4, but you need to let those people know, because if your post, if they don't respond within 4 hours, your post ranks lower. You automatically get downplayed. So it's important that you do that. And then comments are the new growth accelerator. Strangely enough, a well-written comment literally gets you 3 times more profile views and 4 times more followers. And this is absolutely true. And here's an example. I commented on somebody's post. My comment got 29,120 impressions at the time that I took the screenshot. I didn't write the post. All I did was comment. That's really a significant number of impressions. And what an impression means is that when it comes up in a search, these are the number of people that have seen or passed by my comment. That's what you want. You want visibility on strategic posts. Now, I've got about 4 or 5 people that I regularly comment on, because they are international thought leaders in the recruitment space. So I want to be associated and seen with them. So you'll see me regularly post on a couple of them. But it's not just that. Sometimes posts with high engagement are also going to help you a lot. Right. This is what we were saying earlier. Please architect your prompt, give it tone, give it context, tell it what you're expecting, get it to be more human, tell it why it needs to sound like you. Now, if it weren't for today, because Teams is using my microphone, I talk to my AI. I very, very rarely type into my AI when I'm trying to generate content. And I instruct the AI to listen to my tone, to listen to my choice of words, to listen to my intent, and to create content that sounds like me. So I say to it, please don't use big words like conscientious that I don't use in my normal speech pattern. Please pay attention to the way that I talk and generate content authentic to my style. I get a much better output like that than when I write out stuff. Because sometimes we copy and paste stuff that isn't ours. It then adapts the output to the style that you gave it. So it's important that you give as much context as humanly possible. Like everything, you need to give it guidelines and rules. So I will say, please don't put any, oh, if this, then that statements, because that's very AI. Or please don't use long dashes, because I don't write like that. Or please do not use words like. It's going to learn by your guidelines and rules, and it's going to sound more authentically you. It's important. Additionally, every time that I have scripted something, and I didn't write it in here on these prompts, I probably should have, because I did it before I copied and pasted those prompts. I always say, before writing, please ask me anything that you need to understand the situation or my instruction better. It is fascinating what it comes with. And sometimes it comes up with such good questions that I never even considered in the context of my own request. And I get a much better output when I've asked it to ask me clarifying questions. Has anybody tried this? Spoken to AI, given it instructions, and asked it to check in with you before it writes? Does anybody do this on the regular? No? Oh, it's going to be very interesting. Really, really try it. So let me just quickly stop sharing. We are going to run a prompt now. We're going to get some ideas for your own LinkedIn prompts. And then we're going to, if we can today, and I'd really like us to do this, we're going to do at least one prompt, one post today before we leave. I'm also going to give you other prompts that will help you build a network. But we're going to do that. Okay. Right. Please copy and paste this prompt, fill in the brackets, and then run the prompt, and let's see what it comes up with as suggestions for you.
Sorry, Keita, can we use ChatGPT for this one?
Yes, you can use anyone you like.
Okay.
Makes no difference. I only use Copilot because it's in my tenant and it just helps me not share personal data outside of my own environment. So it's the only reason why I use Copilot. But sometimes I use Copilot and then I ask ChatGPT to give me suggestions on Copilot stuff and vice versa. So it's how I test my own prompts.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to run this one so that we can see as an example when I've prompted. I'm going to share my screen again so that you can see. I ran this one as a software developer. So I said I'm a student specializing in IT software development, entering the job market, looking to create a personal brand. Please provide 4 content ideas relevant to South African market and with a focus on fintech and banking. And then I've given it, please create these ideas specifically for LinkedIn. Let's see what it comes with. Okay, so there's my 4 ideas. Did it give me 4? Yeah. Okay. Specifically with a software development student in mind. Okay, so has anybody run the prompt, got some output that we want to talk about, show you how to, we're going to take it and then we're going to make it into a real post.
Yeah, just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm having a problem with my network here, but I'll just share mine in a bit.
Okay. Anybody else anybody else got a content idea that we can use to create a post for you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So I wrote, I'm a student specialized in applications development, and I'm entering the job market. I'm looking to create professional personal brand. Please provide at least 3 content ideas. The ideas should be highly relevant to the Durban South Africa market and focus on education and service delivery. Please create these ideas specifically for LinkedIn and list them. So the first one I got was digital transformation in Durban's education sector. The second one was building reliable service delivery apps for Durban communities. And the third one was student developer journey from Durban to the cloud.
Okay, cool. Which one is the most appealing to you right today?
I think it's the third one, student developer journey from Durban to the cloud.
Okay. So what I want you to do is to tell your GPT now, I would like to create a prompt using idea number 3 and give it some context. So say, because this or that, or feature in this that I've learned or whatever, and then give it some prompt and see what the post would look like. So when you're generating a post, think about the last 5 jobs that you applied for. So, because you're kind of expecting that people in those positions or in those companies are going to be checking you out. Try for that little while, for the next little while after that, to focus your content in that space. So if you've applied to 5 manufacturing clients, try and spin your content aligned to knowledge and skills and application in manufacturing. And if you've also applied to, say, medical schemes or government services, try and balance your posts so that the users or the readers in both those environments would theoretically then see you in their space because you're already demonstrating knowledge of that environment. So it can be your posts and comments can actually be a little bit strategic as well.
So you mean that someone can post relevant to maybe the sector that they want to go to?
Yes. You don't
Okay.
always have to, but sometimes it really helps if you're really looking to build a brand because you apply to 5 banking clients or 5 banking companies. You might want to talk about how your skills and knowledge would be relevant to banking and its future. But yeah, you don't have to, but you know what, if you're gearing towards banking, it's in your interest to look like you understand banking.
Okay.
You also know sometimes you also want to demonstrate those job specs that the candidate must have strong attention to detail, must be customer centric, yada, yada, yada. You get those job specs that tell you those things. Sometimes you can create a post that also demonstrates that. So a willingness to learn and a willingness to be, to help. Sometimes you can post a thing about your last learning opportunity and how valuable it was to show you different perspectives, because then you are showcasing an attribute that future employers are looking for. Or you could post something that might help students coming behind you, right? Here's what I learned from my last job search, or here's what I learned from looking for extra opportunities rather than taking a break, than just taking breaks. So it could be, your posts don't always have to be very technically orientated. Sometimes it can be advice, tips, support that really that contribute to other people. Because in a workplace, your EQ can be as important as your technical abilities. So there's also that can be utilized. Has it given you a post that you can refine?
Yes. It has given me a post. But I think I kind of conflicted myself with what I had asked about. So it did say, a headline, it said a student developer in Durban. I've seen firsthand how limited resources and few community engagement events hold back innovation. So as I was reading through the body, there's a part that says, as someone specializing in application development, I believe that technology can be the bridge. Imagine a community-driven app that connects students with free learning resources, hackathons focused on solving Durban service delivery challenges, cloud-based platforms that allow schools and NGOs to collaborate more effectively. And having been around in Durban and having participated also in hackathons, there are these events that I created to solve those. So, and I've posted about them on my LinkedIn. So now I'm gonna kind of confuse or conflict what I had spoken about with
Okay.
what I'm gonna post about. Yeah.
Yes. So it's a nice idea, but like you said, it requires a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of editing to make it sound like how your role would feed into this, right? So it's all fun and well understanding, but you can say that there's a lot of stuff you could do. So you might have to play with it a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you I'm going to quickly copy and paste the link for the other 2 prompts in for you. One is going to help you network. So it's going to give you suggestions on where to network both in LinkedIn and externally. And the other one, so yes, there's just that one. So when you've done the CV, we can edit your LinkedIn. Now, here's the kicker. Remember I said recruiters love activity and engagement? Yeah, remember I said that earlier? So because you are the last one standing, and because you are the only one that really gave me a lot of engagement, I am going to give you full-time one-on-one access with me. So once you've done your CV, even though for everybody else there's a deadline of the 1st of December, and only to do their CV only once, I am going to check your CV with you. We can do this one-on-one again. And I'm also going to go and help you with your engagement on LinkedIn. So there's my cell and there's my email address. When you are ready, you reach out, you send me your stuff. We will work together to make you as market ready as I can. I also seem to have a lot of clients and connections in the IT world. Once we have worked on your stuff, we are going to share that together. I'm going to make sure you're on all the right platforms and all the right things, and you're connected to all the right people, because recruiters appreciate engagement, and I do appreciate it. So here's the deal. So you're going to do all of this. We're going to work on your CV. You're going to play with all these prompts. I'm going to give you prompt number 2 quickly before I forget. You're going to do the work on it. You are going to send it to me when you're ready. We'll jump onto either a WhatsApp call or another Teams call, and we will go through it together so that we make sure that yours is 100% good to go. Anytime. So wait, so now so this week is not happening. The 3rd and 4th of December, I'm at an international work platform strategic session. So I can't do the 3rd and 4th, but the following week is my closing week. So if you are ready by the end of next week, you and I can set up for the week after, and we will make sure that you are market ready together. Deal?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot.
You are very, very welcome. Have you copied
Wow.
prompt number 2?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sakile, you wanted to add?
No, I'm just saying, wow, what a great experience. He is actually the last one standing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I think you should seize it, to grab it with both hands. We'll also do the same this side. We also just take the opportunity. Yeah, just use this opportunity, man. You never get it anywhere, if I can say. Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much, Keita.
You're very, very welcome. Okay. Do you have any other questions? Do you want to go through anything else while we've got the time? I'm good to stick around if you want me to, but I've given you a lot to work with. There's a lot of editing to do on your own time, though.
I think for now, just to say thank you for the opportunity you've given me. Also just to also give you a hint that I might not be as available as I'd like to be, because there's a holiday job that I had applied for, and things seem to be looking out for that. So I might not be, but I'm gonna try my best to gonna see how the shift are, but I'll
Okay.
definitely use the opportunity. Hence today I'm fully focused because I don't know when I'm gonna get another full day
Okay.
like this one. So I'm definitely gonna jump on the things that you've given us. I'm gonna do them right away today. Make sure that I finish them so that maybe whenever you're ready, then I'm ready. I just know that all we need to do is just to set up, not for me to go back and edit. So I
Okay.
think just to say thank you for the opportunity, I'm
You're
definitely going to work on
You
what
know,
you've given
work
us.
on it in bits. The CV is the most important. So go back to that input document, fill that in as comprehensively as you can, rerun the prompt, edit your CV, then run prompt number 3 for the CV. Okay.
Okay.
We don't have to do everything in one batch. We can work around your time constraints. So do the CV, send it to me. I'll write comments, I'll edit, I'll help you with that. Then you can do your LinkedIn. Then you can create some posts. We can do it in bits. So it doesn't all have to be done in one go. Okay, we can work around that.
Okay.
Because I don't want to put you under pressure and then we've done a half job, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's a latecomer. Okay. Okay, but you're comfortable to work. I've given you my details. If you get stuck, please WhatsApp me because my email is diabolical. It's easy for me to miss stuff. I get 800 emails a day sometimes. So WhatsApp me if you get stuck, send me a screenshot, send me a document, say, can you just check this? Can you look at this? Can you tell me? I'm happy to answer that if you kind of in the moment, because there's no value to you stressing over something for 45 minutes that I can answer in 2 seconds. Okay.
Okay. No problem. Thank you.
Okay, so there's somebody that joined now. You kind of at the tail end. So you might want to rather join tomorrow or Thursday. Where are we today? Today's Tuesday. Yes, tomorrow or Thursday. You might get more value from that rather than now.
Yeah. He or she is more than welcome to join because we have the links on their WhatsApp group for the
Okay.
QT RAS group. So you can just click on that link. It can be tomorrow's one or on Thursday. The last session that we're having it will be on Thursday. And also, Mr. Sithole, you will also, if you would like to join us tomorrow again, if you didn't get anything clear or want to revise yourself, you can always join us tomorrow again for the session. And we will have also, as we're recording this, we're going to have these recordings up on our YouTube channel, which is going to be on a later stage after we're done with these sessions as well.
Okay. Super. Awesome. Cool. Then we're done.
Well, thank you so much, Geeta.
Welcome.
Yeah, that was 3 hours today.
Yeah.
Thank you so
We
much.
tried. Yeah, we'll see you
Bye.
tomorrow then, Geeta. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, Geeta. Thank you so much, Ms.
Perfect.
Winter.
Have a good one.
Same to you.
Bye.
Bye.